Roger Stone here for Colonial Metals Group. Colonial Metals Group helps Americans protect their future with the most trusted store of wealth in human history. That's actual physical gold and silver. If you're retiring or you're retired, go to colonialmetalsgroup.com/stone right now for your free Roger Stone Colonial Metals Group Retirement Protection Kit. Or call 800-747-6589. That's 800-747-6589. Call now to receive your free home safe and up to $7,500 in free silver.
Big news day, as in the New York case. This is the Judge Merchan hush money case, if you will, with Trump. Now, that sentencing has been delayed till after the election. It was supposed to be September, but it has been pushed back. And also, big news on the January 6th case, where the judge there is saying that's going to be pushed back, some of the hearings, but a lot of stuff can come out in the meantime. Let's go to Trump attorney Jesse Binnall. Jesse, great to have you here. What was your reaction, first of all, on the January 6th case that the judge is now allowing in these filings for Jack Smith to put whatever information out before the election?
Rita, of course, as always, it's great to talk to you, and thanks so much for having me. President Trump's attorneys came up with a very reasonable plan on the January 6th case to move this case forward in the normal course, the way that any other case in Washington, D.C. would move forward. But unfortunately, Judge Chutkan, who, of course, knows now that there's no way for her to get to trial before the election, still wanted to find ways that she might be able to impact the election with some of the filings. And so that's, I think, very clearly what she did in this case. It's very unfortunate. That's the road that she decided to travel down. But it's unfortunately become par for the course in her courtroom, where she's just very, very clearly going to use this case as an opportunity for election interference, rather than doing her duty to provide justice in her courtroom.
Judge Weinberg.
Good to talk to you again, Jesse. What upset me enormously is she specifically said she's not going to allow the election calendar to interfere with moving the case forward. There is no reason, Jesse, as you know, to have this go forward in any way. The trial won't take place until the early next year. You have plenty of time to put in your motion practice, your evidentiary rulings. No reason to do it, and it's going to be dropped out there, and they'll be reading the allegations in the papers to make sure that Trump looks bad. It's just an awful thing. The judge is irresponsible for doing this, and this is clear election interference. What say you?
Well, yeah, you're exactly right. And let's look at how she handles her cases. For instance, when it was January 6th protesters in front of her, sometimes people that were actually, sitting in D.C. Central Jail, she was very, very happy to extend those cases long out and not rush them through. And so it's the defendant that has a speedy trial right, not the government. It's the defendant that has a speedy trial right. And so in those cases, she just let it go at a more leisurely pace. And in a case like this, where it's just, there's no other way to put it than disingenuous for her to say that the election calendar has no effect on her. She is, and then to schedule filings in the end of October, right today. Everybody knows what she's doing, and the American people aren't stupid. And that's the one thing that really is helpful here, that we see time and again, is that too many of these judges that are coming at things from a left-wing perspective, they really believe, I think, that the American people are stupid and they're just going to believe this hook, line, and sinker. And the American people aren't buying it. They know each and every one of these cases is all about election interference. They know it's not the pursuit of law and justice. It's the pursuit of a political agenda using our court system. And the American people aren't having any of it. And they badly want Donald Trump back in the White House.
Yeah, if Harris is getting 50-50 with the president right now, I mean, there's a lot of stupid people out there that believe it.
There certainly are people out there I mean, it's a close election. I don't think you can say otherwise. But people, even people who might support Harris, they do understand that these cases aren't about law and justice. These cases are about politics, and they will honestly tell pollsters that time and time again. And so while it is a close election, while it's infuriating to see judges and prosecutors behave like this, I think and it's sad. It's sad that the system that I've given so much of my life to has failed in so many ways in stopping itself from being politicized. But the one thing that I truly believe is going to come through, and the group of people I do have faith in at the end of the day, is the American people.
Do you think the spokesman that was a blabbermouth on how he really feels about what happened to President Trump had an effect on the justice when the judge made his decision today to put it off to after the election?
Did you see this, Jesse? This was the spokesperson for the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office.
The postponing of the New York case?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I did see that. And, I mean, he really had no choice. He very much overstepped during that trial, and in quite an arrogant way. When the president's lawyers in that case correctly made objections that it was improper for that judge to let in evidence about the president's official duties when he was in office, Judge Merchan just overruled those objections out of hand. And it ends up the Supreme Court said that was an extremely important issue that goes to separation of powers. And so, now there's this issue that quite frankly is, I think, certainly going to require either from Judge Merchan if he does the right thing, and unfortunately he hasn't done that yet in this case, or an appellate court, if he doesn't, is going to require an overturning of the jury's verdict, because immunized testimony was allowed to come before the jury.
Yep.
And there's going to be a right to an interlocutory appeal if he denies the motion that the president's lawyers in that case have brought. And so Judge Merchan, I think, really knew that there was no other option than to delay sentencing. And I think he probably is wise to the fact that, he thought that his rulings and his decisions in the jury verdict were going to hurt the president politically. That it really has had the opposite effect. So
Absolutely.
He probably at this point knew it was not doing himself any favors politically by continuing the sentencing.
Yeah, absolutely. Jesse Binnall, thank you so much. What an interesting legal day. Trump attorney Jesse Binnall. Thank you for joining us, Jesse. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.